Hey everyone, hope you're all doing well. My name is Mike Ian. For today's video, let's talk about the Blue Beetle movie.
I think he likes me. What the hell?
Now, I said in past videos, the past DC movies were never really that big for me. Please don't hate on me for this. This is just my personal opinion. I personally wasn't really that big of a fan of them. Not to say they were bad movies. I just wasn't really, lining up to go watch it. I recently did do a rewatch of a bunch of the old DC movies. So I actually watched the Batman trilogy for the first time, the Christopher Nolan trilogy.
So you came back to die with your city?
I came back to stop you.
I did like those movies, they were pretty good. I also watched a few other ones, like I rewatched Man of Steel, Batman vs. Superman, a bunch of those DC movies, and, like I said, wasn't really the biggest fan of some of them, but again, that's just my personal opinion. Anyone liked it, that's totally fine, that's awesome. I'm sure I have a lot of movies that I like that a lot of people think are pretty bad, but off topic, let's get back to the topic of hand. The one movie in this, DCU that I did go watch in theaters was Blue Beetle.
Excuse me, sir. How do I look?
Brian Griffin, I cannot believe you would betray me like this. After everything we've been through as family, you threw it all away like this. Do you have any idea what you just did?
Okay.
Me and my friends went to go watch the Blue Beetle movie, and we all liked it. I thought it was pretty good. I'm not here to just talk to you about the movie and, review it, because that would be a pretty simple review. I'm sure there's many people already done that already since this was a pretty popular film. And there's other things I want to talk about. For one, that Palmera City I thought looked really cool. The skyline looked really cool, the kind of futuristic vibe it has to it, while not being way too, cyberpunk. Not to say the cyberpunk universes are bad. It's just I feel like every futuristic world that we see a lot is either a really big dystopia.
This place sucks. We should go somewhere else.
Or it's a cyberpunk world, and it's cool to see something a little bit different, maybe a little bit more hopeful. This movie story has a little bit of lower stakes, nowadays we are used to a lot of superhero movies having this big end of the world possible, universe ending stakes and all that, and that's not to say that's bad, but it's good to mix it up a little bit of a while. Sometimes it's lower stakes. This story is more of just a more lower stakes superhero origin story that consists of a family versus the evil. Speaking of the family, Blue Beetle, played by Cholo Maridueña, by the way, I think he did a phenomenal job in this movie. He was a really good actor. The family is in on the whole thing. There's no secret identity. This isn't Peter Parker trying to hide that he's Spider-Man from Uncle Ben.
Nice to meet you, Peter. What do you know about the McRib? The McRib? Oh, I don't know. They're okay, I guess. Well, Peter.
The family is very involved throughout the whole movie. The suit itself, I think, was really cool. And the reason I say that is because it was, largely not made with CGI. It was a practical effect. I thought that was really cool. It is a little bit different. I think in the comics, his, mouth can come out and, I think it's more bonded to him than more of, a suit. I'm not completely sure because I haven't read the Blue Beetle comics or really done enough of my research for that yet. I kind of wonder what that would have looked like in CGI. I'm not saying it would have been better or worse. I'm just saying I'm kind of curious to know what that would have looked like. It might have looked a little bit more scary, maybe. I don't know. But like I said, the suit was practical effects. Of course, there was CGI used when he's doing more action scenes and stuff like that. There's not an actual sword spawning out of his hand. But like I said, the suit was pretty cool, as well as the abilities that the suit had. I did not go into that movie knowing anything about Blue Beetle, so I kind of learned about him as I went on in the movie, and it was cool to see these cool things he could do. Like I said, the swords, the lasers, the whole lightning thing was really cool to me.
Accessing energy reactor.
There we go.
In case you didn't know, I am Mexican, so this movie had a lot of Mexican culture, which was really cool to see. There was a lot of this movie that I could relate to, family gatherings and stuff like that, or just past memories. I was like, hey, that's when such and such happened to me, so that was pretty cool. Of course, it did have some bangers in the soundtrack, which I can't really play that much. I hope I don't get a copyright strike for that. Now, there is one thing that I did notice about the movie. I'm saying I liked it, but I feel like the formula it followed was fairly a more simple or already done formula. Now, I'm not knocking the writers or the directors. I'm just saying this film didn't take as many risks as you think it could. You have the hero story, and he has to fight an evil corporation. The corporation has their own villain. The villain takes out the corporation in the end. Now, I'm not judging that at all because I kind of followed that formula in Spider-Man 2099. I wrote a Spider-Man 2099 live-action movie script because I want to be Spider-Man 2099. You can check out other videos about that. So, Spider-Man 2099, of course, he has the evil corporate guy, which is Tyler Stone, the secondary villain, which would have been Venture in the one I wrote, and, the love interest, the family. kind of the same formula, except I like to think that I feel like I took a good amount of risks when writing the story, or hopefully. That's the consensus I see from a lot of people, is that it was like a fun movie, but it didn't really venture too far, you know, it didn't take enough risks as it could have. Like I said again, I really like the movie. I still think it's kind of a little bit underrated. I'll never talk about a movie on my channel that I didn't like, so I wouldn't be talking about it in the first place if I didn't like this movie. I really like the movie. I'm just saying the consensus from a lot of people was that they felt like it took like a little bit of a more safe approach. And that's not to say that the movie itself isn't bad. You know, safe approaches or tropes that we see a lot are sometimes what we need in a movie, you know? Now, this movie unfortunately didn't perform as well as maybe the studio or the people who loved the film had hoped. I even have a friend that was still saying, like, since the movie kind of ended with a post-credit tease, he was hoping, like, man, I wish they kind of would have done more with that in this, like, in the next movie. But I don't think that Blue Beetle's getting a direct sequel. And also, this movie has its fair share of good comedy. I was laughing a lot throughout it.
Damn, you stink. This is your shirt.
It does have its emotional moments at times, of course, as well. Overall, I like the movie, and I believe that James Gunn does want to keep Cholo Maridueña as Blue Beetle. I hope the director, I believe Angel Manuel Soto, was that his name? I personally think he did a pretty good job as a director on this movie too. Overall, if you haven't watched Blue Beetle, I definitely suggest that you should if you do like superhero movies. But yeah, that's going to wrap up the video. Check out my Spider-Man 2099 videos if you haven't yet. I have some big moves being made in my acting career as well, or starting my acting life, should I say. So I'll keep you posted on that sometime soon. Feel free to go to the comments and let me know something about this movie that you like that maybe I didn't touch up on. With that being said, have a great day, work hard, be mighty.